just wanted to welcome everybody as you're coming in. We're going to probably get started on time. So don't forget to mute yourself, except for the speakers. So just I'll wait about a minute and we'll get started.
Can I start my slideshow now? It takes me about a zillion clicks to get it going.
Well, are you going to share your screen or right away?
That would be.
Okay, so I'll just mention that we won't see everybody. Because Kathryn's sharing her screen. So just wanted to tell you that.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Today, Kathryn Seagle, along with members of the Compassion and Action Committee, CIA will present information about the local and global aspects of the food insecurity. Eat Local, Grow Hope Global is an annual outreach of CIA. The project is now in its second year. Please save questions into the end. You can also put them in the chat. Don't forget to mute yourself. I'm on the seminar committee and I'm the host, but Kathryn will be talking. And this is Cheryl Poe, who just sang the garden song for us. And she's the chairperson and she'll start the discussion.
Good morning. It's so happy to see all of you in Zoom land. Our Compassion and Action Committee is the conduit for all of us at UCG to provide goods and services to people in need in our community, both near and far. We're glad that you're all with us today and looking forward to helping us continue our work in outreach for Compassion and Action.
Thanks for Zooming with us today. My name is Kathryn, and we do welcome your questions and comments, but as Barb mentioned, either send them to the chat or save them till we have time later to interact with all of you. Do you remember normal times? Normal times when we fasted and then had a soup and salad potluck together to break the fast, and we donated funds that we'd saved from not eating to give them to Oxfam? Well, this is a partial replacement of the evening we would have spent at the break fast potluck. I miss being with you for soup and salad. I even have a new muffin tin to use so I can get lots of soup at one time. Now I'm going to ask a question. Why a food insecurity project? Well, first, let's define food insecurity, a term I wasn't familiar with until a few years ago. Food insecurity is the state of being without reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable and nutritious food. I was shocked to learn that food insecurity, despite lots of efforts to improve it, has grown worse. And how bad is it? Look at these recent headlines. In September, NPR reported nearly 1 in 4 households have experienced food insecurity this year. Last year, over 10% of Americans, which is over 35 million people, experience food insecurity right here in our own country. The United Nations has World Food Program, and it reports that conditions around the world have worsened despite their major efforts to eradicate hunger. Last year, the UN's World Food Program assisted over 100 million people who were victims of food insecurity. You probably read that the UN's World Food Program won the Nobel Peace Prize. That gained some more publicity for food insecurity. So, is food insecurity, which we know exists around the world and in the United States, is it a problem in Gainesville? Sharon?
Yes, we at United Church of Gainesville know there's food insecurity locally. Our Food for Kids program packs weekly food bags for Rawlings Elementary for students to take home on weekends to supplement their food needs. Because of COVID restrictions, the team packs bags off-site and delivers them to the school for distribution to in-school and online learners. And we have just this month, the past 2 weeks, begun to be able to participate in packing these bags again after receiving clearance from Rawlings. UCG also regularly donates food to Gainesville Community Ministry. Watch for a repeat of our recent drive-by food collection coming in January.
Thank you, Sharon. What's your virtual background today?
Well, my scenic background is of the area of the village of Nevich, and perhaps the woman is part of the Growing Hope Globally food project. I like to think that in a few years, we might have a UCG team able to visit their community in this beautiful location.
Thanks. So why is food insecurity growing worse? Sue, what reasons do you think exist?
Good morning. There are four main reasons that seem to be contributing to this problem worldwide. The first being global poverty. That's been a long time problem, but the global pandemic of COVID-19 has made this so much worse. Second on the list is food deserts, and they vary around the world. Developing countries, it may be an infrastructure problem, a lack of roads and bridges and even vehicles for transport of food. Or in big cities, in poverty-stricken areas, there may be a lack of supermarkets or anywhere that you can buy good, nutritious food. And then third is wars and regional conflicts that usually involve extreme violence, which may mean food can't get to people or that they're too frightened to leave their homes to go purchase it. Now, these three problems that I've mentioned have been around for a very long time, but the fourth problem on the list is more recent, and that's global climate change. And this slide that you're seeing actually happened within the last week in Navage, in the Guatemala highlands, which is the country that UCG has chosen to support through Growing Hope globally. And I think climate change is the one that we're researching the most and maybe not knowing what to do about it. So we have four big areas of concern when it comes to food insecurity.
Thank you, Sue. I think we would all agree that food insecurity is a large and challenging problem locally, nationally, and especially globally. That's why Compassion in Action created Eat Local, Grow Hope Global. So here's another question. Why Eat Local? Our project, Eat Local, Grow Hope Global, has two parts. So let's talk about the first part, Eat Local. Why is UCG supporting local farmers and food producers? What are some of the reasons for eating locally? Janie, what do you think are the reasons for eating locally? Janie, maybe the internet. trapped her someplace where she couldn't join us this morning.
I'm here. Can you hear
Oh.
me?
Yes, thank you.
One step to reduce, let me start over again. Eating locally is one step we can take to reduce our carbon footprint and keep our vital resources close to home, secure our supply chain, keep farmers, local farmers and vendors in business. Local food is fresher and more nutritious. If we use our resources that are close to home, we're not using as much fossil fuel for transportation, and probably that what you get at the farmer's market will be packaged in a different way if it's packaged at all. So eating locally is one step we can take, even if Washington and Wall Street won't.
Thanks, Janie. So we're spreading the word about food insecurity, and we have amazing local partners. Let me introduce our partners. 3 of them have joined us today, and let's ask them why they're partnering with us. Teresa is here from the Vine Sourdough Bakery. Teresa, why did you decide to partner with UCG on this project?
Hi there. Good morning. We're just very invested in community projects and community efforts to help make our world a better place. And y'all are doing a great job with this Eat Local, Grow Hope Globally effort. I really believe in what y'all are doing, and I really am grateful for the support that we have received in turn as a part of this effort. And so, yeah, you guys are a great community organization doing great things for another community that's in need, and you're supporting my community organization. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Let me just interject a very personal note. This last week, I went for my annual checkup, and of course, part of that is being weighed in, and doctor raised her eyebrow and said, "What's happening?" And I said, "I'm carving my way through the pandemic. I have become addicted to the double chocolate cookies at the Vine, and I also adore eating their fresh bread." So thank you so much, Teresa, for helping me at least keep my spirits up through the pandemic.
It's my pleasure, but we don't want you to overdo it. So, so we also want to support a healthy, and happy doctor and healthy lifestyle too. So.
Well, that's exactly what she said. Keep it in balance. Okay, so we're also welcoming Charlie and his granddaughter, Erin. Charlie is from Land of Flowers, and he also runs the Union Street Market at Celebration Point. Charlie, why have you supported this program so strongly?
Well, we have been in the Gainesville area as a farmer's market for going on 25 years now, and seen a lot of different projects that people have, started and run to help local people with what they need to do. But I think the aspect of this expanding to the idea that we also have a need to help people in the rest of the world achieve some of the bounty that we have here is the most worthwhile part of the project to me.
Thank you so much. And is Erin with you?
She is.
Yes. Hi.
Well, this is Charlie's granddaughter, Erin, a very special young woman. And Erin, do you want to just share with us what you're doing to support the project?
Yeah, so I'm actually a part of Interact with my school, which is associated with Rotary. And Rotary is, they like to help out the community and everything like that, and doing a lot of service projects. And so one of the service projects that we decided to go ahead and do this year was going ahead and raising money for this wonderful organization. And we decided to hold a drive-in movie theater to go ahead and collect money, and that way we could also stay connected with our school, but in a safe way of distancing ourselves. So it was definitely very nice because I definitely got to see some people that I hadn't seen in a very long time. Well, except for Zoom, but yeah. So I'm definitely thankful for all of that. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Erin. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday when you come through our drive-through and pick up your own copy of our special cookbook. We have a few more partners who were not able to join us today. We're partnering with Swallowtail Farms. You can see them in the, I think the lower left corner, and also with Frog Song Organics and Dave Malash at the Gainesville Market at Heartwood. And we're very grateful for the support that we're getting from these farmers. Frog Song has a handout when you go shop at their table. And in the handout, it explains that farmers want to help farmers. And this project, the Growing Hope Globally project, supports women farmers in Guatemala by not only feeding the hungry farmers, but also providing income and leadership skills for the women involved. So Frog Song has totally grasped what this is all about and has joined us as a farmer to help other farmers. So now the next question is about the second part of Eat Local, Grow Hope Global. My buttons aren't working. So why Grow Hope Global? Well, UCG has a long history of international outreach to help those with great needs in the world. Last year, we chose to support Growing Hope Globally, an organization that was created by an Ohio farm couple 21 years ago to help grow lasting solutions for hunger around the world. Today, Growing Hope Globally has projects in 26 countries and has helped over 2 million people. You can see the websites listed here if you would like to learn more. The Growing Hope Globally projects give a hand up, not a handout. That means that money is invested and skills are taught so that eventually the recipients can feed themselves without needing further donations. That type of charity helps move the poverty needle. That's our goal. Our Growing Hope Globally project that we chose to support is in the highlands of Guatemala. So how many of you have traveled to Central America and seen the living conditions of the poor? If so, you have seen extreme poverty there. And we all have read about so many Central Americans trying to immigrate to the United States for better opportunities. Our neighbors in need in the highlands of Guatemala are just a road trip away, only 2,400 miles southwest of us. And there, 70% of the Mayan children in that area have stunted growth. 70% of the children are stunted. And that's due to food insecurity, poverty, and lack of education. Many men have left that area due to the ongoing drug trafficking, gang wars, and the lack of jobs. So the women are left to feed their children. Growing Hope Globally has built greenhouses and taught the women to grow vegetables to feed their families. The women have also been helped to sell the vegetables so they have income. We, together with our local partners, have the opportunity to support this project by donating funds directly to United Church of Gainesville, which will then transmit those funds to Growing Hope Globally, which will then invest them in this project in Guatemala. So I'm going to turn this over to Andy, please.
So why do we fast? When I first came to the United Church of Gainesville over 18 years ago, it was the first time that I had ever participated in a community-wide fast, which was, as I look back on it, kind of surprises me. Fasting is mentioned more often in the Bible than baptism is. In fact, fasting is a regular part of many spiritual practices. You think of the month of Ramadan for our Islamic sisters and brothers. You think of the Sabbath fasts for our Jewish sisters and brothers. In Catholicism, it is common to fast from red meat on Fridays, which I think is why fish fries in northern Wisconsin have become so very popular. Fasting is a spiritual discipline. It is the intentional, voluntary abstention from something, anything really, for a limited amount of time. Now, I like to fast from food, and usually when I do a fast, the only things that I will eat or drink are water and coffee, because let's be honest, nobody wants to be around me if I've not had my coffee. But to go for those 24, sometimes even a little bit longer, sometimes as many as 36 hours, has provided for me a good vehicle or venue to practice a spiritual discipline, which I don't often get to do. When we fast, we bring intention to the practice. And so we make a decision. We are going to abstain from this certain thing for a certain amount of time. And we do so with the hope of opening up all of our senses and our awareness to the blessings that really exist all around us. Often when I fast and when we gather together here at the church in time for our breakfast supper, I am amazed at the bliss and the joy that I receive just by sniffing Wonder Bread. And I'm not even talking about Teresa's amazing Vine bakery bread. I'm talking about Wonder Bread. It tastes so amazing. It smells so good. Our senses are heightened when we engage in an act of fast, especially when we do it with a spiritual intention. When we fast, we make a declaration that we are going to stand in solidarity and raise our awareness around issues of food insecurity. We stand in solidarity with those individuals who are experiencing food insecurity and know the true pangs of hunger. And it enables us to have a more empathetic soul for those other people out there in the world. Now, if you do choose to fast, our hope would be that you do so to the best of your ability for your own personal well-being. Some people will fast from technology, and I think that's a great way to fast. If you are going to fast with us, just please make sure that you're doing it in a healthy and in a wise way. We don't want anyone being hurt as a process of their fast. But when you do so, also, I encourage you to make it an intention to perhaps enter into a prayer practice and to make a declaration to yourself and to God, however God is known to you, that when you do this, you are doing this to stand in solidarity and to, again, empathize with those in need. I have found that when I engage in a fast, it raises my awareness of my mind, body, and spirit connection. And it has been a terrific resource for me in my own spiritual practices. And I hope that you would find it worthwhile as well. So this coming Wednesday, many of us will eat a noontime meal, and then we'll go without food until about 6 p.m. On Thursday night. We do hope that you will drive on through. There will be members of Compassion in Action here on site to receive any donations that you might wish to make for our Growing Hope Globally project. And when you do, we will hand to you one of our brand spanking new UCG cookbooks. There are so many amazing recipes in here submitted by many of you. So thank you all for your gifts and your recipes. And so we will give that to you. And then at 6 p.m., join us for a Zoom union where we will have a communion celebration where we will break our fast together. So we look forward to seeing you on Thursday. And really, more than anything, we appreciate your support and we appreciate your participation in this powerful experience. So how lucky we are to have strengthened our connection with our community partners, with our farms and our farmers, and with Teresa over at Vine. I only believe that this project is going to expand. So thank you again for your participation. And someone has asked, are we going to get to go to Guatemala someday? And my big hope is yes. I'm going to do a quick sidebar. I actually first became acquainted with the organization Growing Hope Globally when I was working as a pastor up in Illinois. And there we partnered with Central Illinois farmers who would donate a portion of their crop, it was corn at the time, to our project. And I did get to go and visit some of the projects that we were supporting. I went with my father, and I went with another member of our church, and I went with one of our local farmers. And we got to go to the Gambia and to Senegal, where we saw projects that were very similar to the one that we are supporting in Guatemala. Someday, if I can ever switch my VHS videotape over, I'll show you some highlights from that trip. But it was just an amazing experience, and that connection was really just a valuable and a rich resource. So, Kathryn, I turn it back over to you.
Well, thanks everyone. Hi, Kathryn. I'm going to look at the questions in the chat. Thanks, Andy. Thanks all the CIA members for being here and all our guests. It's been a really interesting seminar. So let me go ahead. There's a couple of things in the chat I just wanted to mention. So someone asked if there are food deserts right here in Gainesville, Alachua. And Jeff Shapiro actually answered this one, and I think this is correct. I would imagine that maybe some of you had something to add, but there's a real scarcity of food stores in East Gainesville. The result is sometimes the overuse of convenience stores, which may not offer much nutritious food, which is so true. It's that those food deserts are present here, definitely. And he also said that our farmers markets are not so easily accessible to many residents on the east side. Cypress and Grove and Heartwood are the closest. So is there anybody else who has a question? Just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you, or Kathryn can call on people. It's any questions? Any of our partners, comments, questions?
I can't, I don't know how to do it.
We can hear you, Ann. If you have a question, just say
I don't know where this chat thing is. I'm not very good on this kind of stuff.
We don't have to use chat now. We can just talk. So go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Why did you choose Guatemala, not Honduras or one of those other countries around there that are just as poor?
Well, I remember we had a couple of meetings of the Compassion in Action Committee. Andy had talked about his wonderful visits to Africa, so that was certainly on the table. And when we looked at the website from Growing Hope Globally, they've got these projects all over the world. A lot of us were very mindful that the headlines were and still are full of the many difficulties people in Central America are experiencing, and there they are lined up at the wall trying to get into the United States. So how could we help our neighbors? And if we got to visit, it'd be a little closer to go there too. So we focused on Central America, and then we closely looked at all the different projects in Central America. And this project spoke to us because it was not only teaching them how to use the land better, how to be able to grow the vegetables in greenhouses, but it was teaching the women who had lost their husbands and the men in the area because they had fled due to all the dangers to the men. So the women needed to learn how to work together. This project teaches them how to work together. And when you read the information on Growing Hope Globally about it, some of the women have risen to positions of power in their local communities. So we are empowering women who are living and now are flooded in very challenging circumstances. So I think it was a very easy call for us at a CIA meeting to say, yes, let's choose this project in Guatemala. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. We have message in chat that says, please repeat the details of the drive-through event. Andy, if you could do that.
So starting at 4:30, members of Compassion in Action will be here on site at the church. You can simply drive up. We will be masked and gloved. If you have a donation you would like to make, we will also have a card reader available. And actually, you can go onto our website right now on the giving page and find Growing Hope Globally, the Growing Hope Globally project in that huge drop-down menu, but you can also just come on by because we'd love to see you. So come by anytime, and when you make a donation to the project, we will gift you one of our cookbooks. And then at 6 p.m., we will have a Zoom communion. And so we will send that link out in our events, which will come out on Tuesday. And there will be more details as well, or these details will be reported, repeated in the Tuesday email as well. So drive on through. We can't wait to see you and support this project.
Fletch, did you have a question?
Well, I just had a footnote to what Kathryn was saying. I was in Thailand and Cambodia on an agricultural project a couple of years ago, and I learned something that really rocked me back on my heels. I had grown up in the United States for all these decades, and I thought the word farmer meant a man. But I learned that across the globe, in almost every country, the word farmer implies a woman. So that was new to me. I shows you how much I know. But I think that kind of substantiates what Kathryn was saying.
Thank you. Here's a couple of questions from the chat. Drew asked, are there food forests here or there? I'm not sure what he means by food forests. Drew, do you want to unmute yourself and explain that? Or I can unmute you.
Yes, like community gardens, but a food forest would be just an area where people could just come and pick food as they wanted to. And is there something like that in Gainesville or Guatemala, if you're aware of it?
Kathryn, anybody?
This is Cheryl. I don't know of anything of that nature in Guatemala, but there are some community gardens in the Gainesville area. The University of Florida has community gardens. I'm not sure if just anyone can go pick the several of the neighborhoods in downtown have community gardens. However, I think the people who have access to them are mostly the people who work the gardens and that kind of thing.
Thank you, Cheryl. Here's another question from the chat. How is the program organized in Guatemala? Kathryn, do you know, or Andy, or anybody on the committee?
So typically, Growing Hope Globally will partner with organizations that are already on the ground and doing good work. In the past, it's been working through things like USAID and Church World Service, which often has good projects going. And the beautiful piece about what Growing Hope Globally does is they essentially raise money for these specific projects. And then once the projects are up and running, they're done. For the experience that I went to in Senegal and in the Gambia, the money that we raised went to dig a well in the village, to teach some of the local people to maintain the well. They provided fencing and then education and seed starts. And then once that was done, they were done. And to see the transformation in the villages where this program has been a success has just been amazing. So they create self-sustaining, self-sufficient programs. And it's a really very cool thing to see.
So,
Kathryn?
I wanted to kind of tag on to that. I was lucky enough with my husband Brent to go to Honduras for about 8 years and helped with a medical program down there. And many of the poor families that came for the surgery were Mayans and other indigenous people. I was speaking to one, I think it was a grandmother, about what she had fed the baby that morning for breakfast. And she told me coffee and tortillas to a baby. I mean, it just breaks your heart. So part of this outreach is not just to help them get the food, but to give them the education too. And if you read in the Growing Hope Globally website, and also if you read the United Nations work and USAID, the projects include educating people so that they understand what good nutrition is and how these children need good nutrition to grow healthy and strong. And Brent was telling me that medically, stunting is passed on down from generation to generation. You don't just fix it with a healthy diet for the next baby. I mean, all that medical stuff is over my background, but it's a very challenging and very complex issue to deal with. And I'm just so glad our church has reached out to take on a piece of this and try to make it better there.
Here's another chat question from Stacia. Is UCG partnering with Land of Flowers? I think that's, is that Charlie Libran? And she wanted to ask do they sell at Union Street Farmers Market?
We're there every Wednesday. I mean, that's why, one of the reasons we started the farmers market to begin with was to be able to sell our honey products.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions? Great questions, everybody. This has been very educational for me too.
Well, can I make some more personal testimonies?
Sure.
Because we jumped into this project, I'm a more frequent shopper at the farmers markets. And that's how I've gotten to know Erin. And now I have a spoon of honey every morning. And it's always great to see Erin at the table at the farmers market. But I've also been introduced to some very strange green vegetables in the bags that I buy from Frog Song and Swallowtail. And I've had to Google to figure out what they were, whether you eat them raw, whether you cook them. So it's become an interesting challenge this year to learn what it is that's growing out there that's good for me. And I mean, Brent's risen to the challenge to cook these things up in wonderful ways. So if you're a little bored with whatever you've been eating, I challenge you to go to the farmer's market and pick up some interesting things and figure out what to do with them. I've just enjoyed being part of the community in that way. And I know many of you have too, but if I can encourage anyone who hasn't yet, give it a shot. It's really, really, it's a good thing to do all around.
I'll
feel
also
very
chime
safe
in.
too. I would say that the farmers markets all feel very safe, that everyone is masked and people seem to be very mindful of keeping their distance. And so if you are feeling nervous about that, I'd say go ahead and try it out. Even when I tried to record Teresa for the little face-to-face thing that we did for our enlistment, Teresa felt so guilty when she was taking off her mask to do the recording, which I appreciated, Teresa. And but everyone seems to be very mindful of it. So
I think in addition to that, what I've done on several occasions is order from Swallowtail. I think it's a $25 bag of, you never know what's going to be in the bag, but you can drive by and pick it up. And that's also a very convenient kind of thing. So you don't even have to get out of your car. You pop your trunk and put the good food in the trunk and off we go. And it's another nice option in this situation that we're living in right now. And fun.
And Cheryl, how would you do that? Do you go to their website or call them or?
Yes, well, both. You can go to their website. I think Swallowtail does it. Land of Flowers, probably. I've not ordered from you all online like that, but Swallowtail for sure does. And Cypress and Grow. Let's see. I haven't. The only one I've ordered online from is Swallowtail. But you can go to their website and there's a easy way to click and it lets you know what vegetables might be available.
Thank you. Let's see, I've got some more chats here. Jeff said that we were challenged by the little turnips and kohlrabi in our package. I should say that Connie was challenged. And then Andy said, try slicing them and put lemon juice and salt on them. Yum.
Real thin, real thin.
Well, just for some humor, we got beets months ago, and Brent and I despise beets. I have to say, we do not eat beets, but we didn't want to throw anything away. So a friend of mine said, you can make hummus from beets and it's really delicious. We did, and it was delicious. So everything was a challenge.
Connie.
That's great.
Connie had a
Story.
comment.
I just wanted to say I have had more fun getting these bags of wonderful food from Swallowtail. During this time when we're home anyway, it's wonderful to find creative ways to use all that food and think how healthy we're going to be. So I recommend it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Comments, questions? Is anybody, I'm going to participate in the fast. I've done it. We used to fast for Oxfam, and I've done it since I joined the church 30 years ago. I've only missed once. So I'm going to do it again this time. It's always a challenge, just like Andy was saying, because I'm a snacker too, and I'm right here. I'm home, so I've got to find things to do to keep me not thinking about food. That's always, when I was working, it was easy, but even though I was working from home, it was easy because I had to work, but now retiring. And last year I cooked made a soup that I contributed the recipe to the cookbook. But it's always been really, hunger is a big deal. And I just really feel adamant about it. And I really like the fact that UCG is involved. And so I thank the CIA for continuing it, even though we kind of stopped with Oxfam and we've moved on. But I think this sounds like a really good program because it's not throwing money at it, it's enabling people to, women especially, to make an income, make a living, and learn how to farm. And also I appreciate our farmers markets. Anything else? Anybody else?
Well, if no one else has any more questions, I want to thank all the participants for being willing to help put this together. It was another one of those good things to do that changed the days from being Groundhog Day every day. We had new challenges to work on, and building that team to work on this was a real joy for me. And I thank everyone who participated this morning on Zoom. I appreciate your support. I know many of you have supported this effort at UCG for many, many, many years, and I'm just so glad we have a good program to keep it moving forward despite the challenges of this time. So from my heart, I thank you all.
Well, on behalf of the Sunday Seminar Committee, I want to thank Barb and Kathryn and all the participants. This has been really great, and it gives a whole new definition of Thanksgiving for me. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Hope to
Bye-bye.
see you
Thank you.
Thursday. Great job, Barb.
Thanks.
Great job, Kathryn. Teresa, thank you.
Thanks for joining.